Hello, everybody. Happy day after Labor Day. Hopefully, you guys had a great extended weekend. Um, Today was an interesting day. We'll get to are the Bulls in charge or are the Bears in charge? Um, if you should stay long or stay short, um, and go from there. Maybe look at a couple stocks that Allen's traded today. Personally, I'm still using the 5-minute app to guide. Triple M was one of my first triggers that triggered short at 8:45. So this was just about right out of the gates. Um, Huge downward movement. Um, I caught in a little late. I think I was in at 8:49, 8:50, which is 9:50 Eastern. So I think right about in here. And in doing so and chasing this down, um, volatility is increasing. The price of the apps is skyrocketing. So I chased it and ended up paying quite a bit for it. And unfortunately, it came back up. And at this point, even though we're nowhere near the 5-minute low, I was down 50% and I decided to pull the trigger and close my short. Had I not, because I'm nowhere near a true stop, I may have been looking at a double down here. So I'm starting to lean more into waiting towards the end of the week to trade. Friday was an incredible day. And I posted my SPY orders on how I played it. And let's look at Friday for an example. It actually triggered short here, but I think I waited. I noticed this box forming right here. It basically threw a high right here at 401.50-ish. So I watched these candles form, nowhere near threatening the top or, not making a new high, and I went short. It kind of played around here and I added a short and I said, okay, if we break above this high right here, I'll get out. It never did. I'm starting to realize that I'm somewhat of an emotional trader. And I know when I'm being emotional and when I get wound up and, watch every tick, watch the option price. So I think I bailed when it hit a double. I was in the 397 puts and right here, we're at 400. So like I said, I bailed early. And then as I continue to drop, I got in the 394s, which is down here. I saw this forming, and I think I got out here with probably a double as well. And then we had this huge drop. If you look at where we ended up on Friday, this is like 391. So rather than making $100 maybe, those 397s that I had intrinsically were worth $600 each. The 394s were worth $300 each. So like I said, I know when I'm being emotional. I know when I'm reacting rather than me planning the trade versus the trade jerking me around. So what I need to do is start taking breath and start falling back into this logical, like, this may happen. Because when I got into those 394s, I'm like, there's no way we're going to be, those 394s are going to be in the money. You know, that's 6 points on the SPY. But sure enough, we traded down to 390-ish. So, and you know, one, it was a Friday. Usually there, and we haven't seen it lately. We've seen green Fridays, but we're back, I think, to red Fridays. It was the Friday before a holiday. And when you think about it, if you have the opportunity, why would you hold over a holiday weekend? You want to get out of your positions and let the weekend play. So had I thought about that, and like I said, got out of the emotional side and back into the logical side, I would have understood that yes, it's possible for this to drop like it did. It's now when we look at the spot, the SPX, which is basically the index for the SPY, we did gap up this morning, but then the bears took it down quite low, actually. I think it was 38.80. The bulls rallied, but couldn't hold. We never made it past the 5-minute high today. If we go look at the daily for the SPY, this is not looking well to me. Yes, we're extended from the 20-day SMA. This is the 10 and this is the 200. So yes, we are extended. But look at how this 20 is curving over. I don't know when we're gonna bounce. You know, it's for now, I believe the shorts are in control. I don't know what's gonna make us pop. I don't know what sort of event, and I think it's gonna take an event, something to happen for the bulls to step back in and take control. That's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. I don't know Alan's thoughts on it. I know Alan wants to talk about his Millionaire Mind class as well. Quite the involvement or interest. How much are you up to? 150-ish?
154.
Or
And so I'm working on everybody to get them in, and then we'll get going with the first class. So going to the markets, you've had 3,000 point drop in a month. So there could be a couple issues, but what started all this? Powell speaking, the Fed speaking. Basically, it was almost like he was saying that this economy is a train wreck and you better get out. That's kind of how I interpret it. And I think a lot of people interpret it that way because you're seeing Dow stocks that usually don't drop that much, like MMM, that they're dropping huge amount. So the thing is the rule of thumb is you stay short till you go ahead and show that you don't stay short.
yeah.
So you should be short right now.
And you
Now, the
mentioned,
thing is
I was going to say, you mentioned Triple M. You know, if we look at their daily chart, because so this is the 3-month, and we are way down here. You have to go back. Here's the yearly. I mean,
you got to go all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the 3-year weekly. So what day is this? March of 2020.
Yeah, you're even below that.
That's where, and actually these, you know, we spiked down and these are weekly. So within this week, we kind of rebounded right here, but this is, I mean, we're approaching it. I can't see that. 118, no, 113.
Yeah, but that this is the lowest it's been in 3 years.
Yeah.
They're all not good signs. And the stock usually doesn't drop that much. So it's not a good sign at all, because basically it's in a free for all right now. Now, someone would say, like, we were talking earlier, we were talking about, it's because energy prices. Well, energy prices were down today. They weren't up. ExxonMobil didn't do very well for a stock today. So I think everybody knows that we're in a bad situation. You got Europe was totally cut off by Russia. Trump told them, don't be buying your natural gas from Russia because they're technically your enemy. They did it anyways. They got totally cut off because of the stuff that's going on. And it's a disaster. You might have a total disaster in Europe this winter with no natural gas flowing. They don't have anything to do it. And they can't count on the United States because we're cutting back on all our energy. We
Right.
could be pumping out coal. We could be pumping out natural gas. We could go ahead and be doing propane, all these things, but we're not doing them because somehow it's against policy. We don't need to get oil from Saudi Arabia, Russia. We got it all here, but the market's reacting to it, and that's what we're seeing right now. So
Yeah.
watch out. And you're going to be going into the Jewish festivals coming up pretty quick. It's going to go ahead and drop even more. So
Right, yeah, we looked at that last week. I think it was the calendar of when those start.
yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
So that's my market take. You got a little bit from Brian, on the stock itself, but I would think we're probably going to go up another 200 points tomorrow, but I think that it's going to take it back. It's a rough go right now if you're a bull. It's not looking really good right this minute.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sell the pops.
So follow the 5 minute. Try to go ahead and stick with just your puts. MMM was a put. You should have doubled, tripled your money on that today. That was a good trade. Stay away from anything that's a call. Wait for the 5 minute app to go off. Go with the puts. That's my
Right.
suggestion. Most of your stocks, like U.S. Steel, Cleveland Cliffs, they never made it. They were range bound. Most of your stocks were range bound. The only one that wasn't was Visa. It actually broke out, but then it came back to the 5 minute high and low. So,
Well, and we've seen that in the past, like earlier in the week, it's usually choppy. They're terrible days to day trade. You have better luck on the as you get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Options are cheaper because you're not paying for time. But yeah, I've found that Mondays going into Tuesdays are more choppy than your later in the week kind of things. And I've tossed around the idea of, I mentioned today I was light. I wasn't all in on the market because the first day of the week, usually it ends up you're putting in more work or you're fighting that choppiness. And unless you're nimble and can get in and get out quick, which I don't do, yeah, I am leaning towards just start to stick towards Thursday and Friday trading.
that does seem to be a better way to go. But right now, your oil's down, and your Bitcoin is in a disaster zone. Gold isn't looking too good. And interesting enough, this is a American thing. It's not a European. The Nikkei was up today. So they had a good day, or at least it was flat, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
But it was up.
I want to say Europe was green as well. or ended green.
Yeah, Europe was definitely, but
I would,
Shanghai was up 1.3%.
yeah. If you don't have it, I highly suggest getting the CNBC app. On its main home screen, you can see the indices around the world, and if you look at night, you'll start to see China come online, and you'll see those indices. As the early mornings comes, you'll start to see Europe. So yeah, like you said, this is an America thing. We're not following the DAX, which we normally kind of do. So
Yeah, and I would say the number one factor that they're not talking about is the 10-year yield is at 3.35%. 3.35. That's huge. It's never
oh,
been that one in like 20 years, to my knowledge. It's been a long time.
yeah,
And all it is increasing our debt.
the last time I remember interest rate talks, we were approaching the threes, or we were 2.9 sort of thing. And for some for someone that's holding a lot of debt, which the U.S. is, rising interest rates is not good. Because you're continually trying to roll over and refinance that debt, and usually what you want to do is refinance down, refinance into lower interest rates. So
Mhm.
yeah, okay,
And so what they're saying, it's killing the housing market. So, all right, Brian, it's good chatting. I'll get all your emails and set, and we'll get that all going.
yeah. Alan and I talked about that, and I think we're leaning towards 2 Zoom calls, maybe.
Yeah, I think in the future, yeah, we'll try that. Invite them on a Zoom call.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have a limit of 100 people, so there's no way that we can get everybody online at once. Um, and
Well, a lot of people may not be get on the Zoom calls, so I'd say that might work out.
yeah, right. And then
Limit for the first part.
follow up with your email.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Coming soon.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Alan.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week.